another edition. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, and wonderful. As you see on your screen, your dial, however you are joining us this evening, day, however. Mark Norman, question mark? Sean, he's a comedian. You usually have actors, writers, directors, cinematographers. Well, first of all, audience, you need to calm down a little bit because as the bio for my show is always stated, it is a mediocre podcast discussing arts and crafts. And, well, I definitely think stand-up comedy is unquestionably an art, and I believe Mark's craft is second to none, and I'm not just saying that because he's on the show. Secondly, I think your assumption would be wrong, to be honest with you. I mean, he's been on Inside Amy Schumer, the criminally underrated Horace and Pete, which I just absolutely love. He's been on Conan, Fallon, Colbert, Corden, the Joe Rogan Experience. He does multiple podcasts of his own. Tuesdays with Stories with Joe List. We Might Be Drunk with Sam Morill. He just self-released a special on YouTube called Out to Lunch, which was goddamn hilarious, and it's teetering on 7 million views. I mean, Jesus. Anyway, he'll be performing his craft at the Toledo Funny Bone today through Saturday, so hopefully you guys got tickets. I know most of the shows are sold out, but anyway, members of the audience, joining the show for the first time, Mr. Mark Norman. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on.
Hey, wow, that was nice. Thanks for having me. Sometimes I do these pods just to hear my own credits read back to me.
Well, so I think, two things. I mean, I would have been pissed if you didn't come on because, one, I'm global, babe. Give it a goog. I'm global. And two, what could you possibly be doing in this fucking hillbilly town for the entire day? How could you fill your day with all the fields, the cornfields?
Oh, man, you talking about Toledo?
Well, yeah, Toledo.
Yeah, I'm in Toledo, folks. I got to tell you, I can kill a day like you wouldn't believe. These people are like, I'm so bored. What should I do? I don't get bored. I got the internet. I got my own genitalia. I've got walking. I got music. I can write. I can listen to old sets and retweak and work on videos. I don't have enough time in the day, so I can make fun anywhere. I actually hate going to places with a bunch to do because I feel pressured to go see the arch or the museum or the roller coaster or get the delicacy or bang a whore or whatever it is. I like having nothing to do. I like Toledo because there's not a lot going on, so I can just live in my own little hotel room world.
Well, actually, so I was listening to you and Joe List a little earlier. You only really came to Toledo so you could experience Cedar Point, the world-famous amusement park, because you just love amusement parks, don't you?
I hate them. I hate roller coasters. I don't get it. I feel like we got enough great things on Earth. Why do we need to go jerk ourselves around on a coaster? I don't know. I hate being scared. So to me, I don't want to pay a bunch of money. I grew up in fear. I live in fear. I don't need to go on a roller. How about a roller coaster called Canceled? That'd be way scarier. Why don't we do that?
I'm a firm believer, just because I've dated a few women that weren't, born and raised in Ohio or Michigan, but I think if you were born and raised here, like going to Cedar Point, it's almost like a conditioned thing, I think if you didn't grow up here, like, yeah, once you get to the top of that roller coaster, you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? What I just paid $100 to be scared shitless. This is stupid.
Yeah, I'm with you. And look, it's a thrill, but it's a cheap thrill. I'd rather have a good conversation. I'd rather have a cold beer. I'd rather run through a meadow holding a pedophile's hand through a sprinkler. I don't need this giant contraption that was thousands and thousands of dollars and man hours to build, and it's called the anal raper or whatever the hell. It's got some scary name. I don't need that. Just give me a goddamn tune and a dog and a tennis ball and let's call it a life.
You're not wrong. I can remember, I don't know, I was like 16 or 17 on one of the roller coasters at Cedar Point, and I'm 100% sure I left one of the, I don't know, it was supposed to be like the fastest wooden one or whatever. I was concussed. Yeah. I was concussed. There's no doubt about it. Like, I got off the ride and I was like, man, I feel like I'm going to throw up, but it wasn't nausea. It was all in my head. I was just like, I think I think that roller coaster just fucked me up a little bit, like for sure, like the banging the head, the temples. So just but then
yeah, exactly. If I'm with my lady and we're trying to kill a baby, hey, let's get on the old, let's get on the Cobra, whatever the hell, the abortion. That I'm fine with. I'll have a nice miscarriage ride, but I don't want to do it on a regular Saturday and ruin my weekend.
Oh shit, dude. So I try. I don't want to get super serious, but I do like to ask some questions when I have some people coming on the show. And there was a couple ones that I kind of wanted to pick your brain about. And I know that you've probably discussed them amongst your friends at nauseum. But like, how do you feel about the state of comedy these days? Like you mentioned, canceled. Like, and I know it's nauseating. Like, I mean, I listen to all your shows, but there's members of my audience that may have not, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm kind of drifting towards concerned. Like, and am I just concerned because I'm kind of seeing how we are unraveling with, or how it's kind of unveiling with the comedy? And because I'm paying attention to who's getting canceled for this, that, and the other thing, and that's why I'm noticing it. Is it something as easy as where if you just ignore it, like if you don't like it, turn it off, that sort of shit? But I almost feel like for you, all you guys, you, Sam, I'm a big East Coaster guy. Not that I dislike West Coast comedians. I'm definitely much more you and Sam and Soder and Bob Kelly and Jim Norton, and yeah. I mean, how do you feel about it? Has it impacted your writing at all?
I'll tell you, it used to, because you be at the Notebook and you just hear all these scary people with blue hair yelling at you in your head, going, "Don't you say that, you cisgendered white bitch," or whatever. And you're like, "Oh God, I'll change the joke from a black guy to a Jewish guy. That'll get me out of trouble." But I feel like the canceling stuff, it's almost like being a kid, being scared of things. It's actually way more worse in your brain than it is in real life. Look at Tony Hinchcliffe. I mean, the guy said gook or chink or whatever it was, and he got put on video, and then the video went out into the world. And look, I'm not saying it was funny or whatever, but I don't think he's stupid enough to attack Asian people just that directly. I mean, he had an Asian guy on the show. I hate the fact that the guy filmed him and put it out there in an attempt, because he knew what would happen. He knew this would get a buzz and create a whole whirlwind of whatever. So, like, that's what scares me, is the allure of being the canceler is actually way stronger than compassion or if this guy really had a problem, hey, go talk to Tony, go chew him out, go kick him in the balls, whatever. I mean, this guy was Asian, so look, he's allowed to be pissed. I get it, but I used to worry about it, but I think unless you get filmed out of context like Tony was, I think you're okay. I say go dark. It's just got to be funny. The real canceling is the audience not laughing and no one buys a ticket and no one watches your special or listens to your album. That's canceling. Cancel culture, and it's such a cliche hack term, but I think it's just social media. It's just people yelling and screaming on social media, and then the news is so fucking bankrupt of any kind of real journalism that they just scoop that up and go, "Hey, we got a story here." But you're like, it's not a story. It's just a bunch of comedians saying retard in a strip mall. Yeah. It's just, so I think it's a combination of all these things. And I think, I hate when people lump in the Cosbys and the Harveys and the Epsteins and the R. Kellys and all these people with cancel, because that's just illegal shit and they should be in jail.
Right,
but right. I think we have gone a little off the rails with we've gone so nutty that if you say a truth, it gets people riled up. If you go, "Hey, fat people is actually unhealthy," and they go, "Are you kidding? Fat people are beautiful." And you're like, "Hey, you can think whatever you want to think, but it's actually harder for your heart to pump and your cholesterol through the roof, and you're going to die early. Yep. And you need to exercise, you psycho, you big whore, fat cow." So, like, I get it. We want to be nice, but on the flip side, we're also ruining someone's life and getting them fired. Like the Bachelor guy. This guy got in trouble for I don't know. I guess he defended a woman who went to a debutante ball 2-3 years ago, and they're like, she's a racist, and he's like, I don't know about that. So they let him go, and you're like, well, she's vying for the love of a black man. I think that trumps the whole debutante ball thing in college. And they're like, no, we got to ruin her. And that's what worries me is the allure. People are so enticed by canceling or getting people in trouble that they're not even seeing the real picture. And that's what scares me. It's not the actual canceling. It's the fact that people get off on it.
Yeah, and Shane, too.
Sorry, long answer.
No, that perfect answer. And Shane, too, right? Shane was canceled for an Asian joke, and I'm just sitting there going, like, dude, like, what? He's brilliant. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I especially watching you two as of late being on, I think you were on his podcast or something, like, dude, I was howling, and I was just like, how... Especially if you come out and you, like, acknowledge, like, hey, like, it was stupid. But I think a lot of it just has to do, it's real simple. Was it done in malice, or was it just a fucking joke? Because if it was done in malice, then yeah, you know what? Don't be an asshole and just find a different path to get to that joke or whatever. But I just,
of course,
you know, I don't see Shane as being that type of person. And I just, man, like, I wonder, you know, I asked the question because I wonder how many people that were like, oh, I'm doing stand-up comedy, I'm going to open mics, and then, you know, you start to see this culture come down on people, and then they tap out, and we could be, you know, missing the next you or Stanhope or whoever because fucking goddamn social media has scared the shit out of them, you know?
Yeah, I say just don't listen. They can try to ruin your life, and they ruin Shane's, obviously. I hate when they go, he's still working. Yeah, but 8 million people called him a racist. Like, that has an effect on people.
Yeah.
For the people who go, hey, don't hurt someone's feelings, don't be mean to trans people, it's like, well, you're incredibly mean to this guy. How come that's okay? Like, they have this weird thing where it's all about love and down with hate, but if we deem you inappropriate, we're allowed to be completely horrific to you. You know, it's like, it's not really fair. It's like, hey, don't fat shame Lena Dunham, but go nuts on Chris Christie.
Right.
You're like, well, he's got feelings too. Yeah, but we don't like him. It's like, all right, well, either the rules are there or they aren't. You can't pick and choose. But yeah, Shane went through the ringer. That he really got canceled, and it sucks. And I think SNL knows that, and I think they feel bad about it. But it was just they had to make a business decision. I don't think they actually gave a shit. But I just like that sane people know that he's not a bad guy. Like Andrew Yang called him, and they did a podcast, and now they're friends. So it's like, shouldn't that prove to everyone that he doesn't hate Asians? But they don't care about that part. It's that bloodlust. They get so hyped up by ruining somebody that it doesn't matter anymore. And that's what scares me the most. It's not the actual canceling. It's the fact that they're getting off on it, and it's not about justice. It's about a scalp on the wall.
Dude, you're 100% right. Like, I, you know, this is predominantly a movie podcast, so for me to make this correlation isn't too surprising. It's Joker shit, dude. Some people just want to see the world burn. It's that simple. Like, they just go, oh, look at it. He doesn't have a career anymore. Like the whole, you know, James Gunn, the director of the new Suicide Squad coming out. He makes a tweet 10 years ago. 3 years after the tweet, he apologizes for it. And then 7 years after the apology, he gets canceled. And I'm just like, I don't understand these nuances anymore. Like,
yes,
you're not allowed to grow at all. Like, fuck, dude. If you were to go back on podcasts that I did, you know, 10 years ago, the people would be like, hey, you're not huge or nothing, but you're fucking canceled. So don't even try to try to get big.
Here's the rub, though. Let me just throw this in, and I'll shut up. But here's the rub: is not only do they want to watch the world burn, but they get to feel like a hero throughout. At least Joker was like, oh, I'm a psycho. I know I'm crazy. These people are like, no, I'm going to watch the world burn, and I get to pat myself on the back. So why wouldn't they do it? It's a double whammy.
Oh, yuck. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I hate it too, and I hope if history has taught us anything, you know, everything flips and everything kind of goes the other way. look, we had hair metal, then we had grunge. You know, everything kind of, you have a Republican president, then boom, the next one's a Democratic president. So like things keep flipping. So hopefully this will flip. In the 80s, we had Karate Kid. In the 90s, we had Pulp Fiction. So like, right. I hope things flip. But look, I just want everybody to get along. And what kills me is the comics canceling comics. This is new.
Oh, so this is something that's relatively. I didn't know that was actually taking place.
Well, oh yeah, I mean the comics going after the comedians. It's such a divide now, which I hate. I hate these weird little cliques and shit. It should just be comic is comic, you know. But again, there's clout in ruining someone. So, and comics want clout. Comics want exposure. Comics want they want hits like everyone else. So it's just another avenue at this point.
You brought up social media kind of playing a big part in the whole culture. Something that you had said actually on your newest episode with Sam on the Patreon, We Might Be Drunk. You said something that I have been saying on my podcast for quite a while now. Now, for me, I know that it's my fault, and we'll get into that in a second, but you said, somebody once said that you have to be undeniably funny, and now it's you have to be undeniably popular. And
right.
Fuck, dude, that hit me right in the chest, because it's like, there used to be a time where you had to be talented if you were going to go into the entertainment business. There had to be, you had to have, whatever they say, he's got it, that sort of, she's got it,
right,
that sort
right.
of thing. And now, it's like, I didn't take any notes or anything, but the first one that's popping into my head is like the whole Jake Paul, Logan Paul thing, where I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I don't even know why does this exist? And like, I'm kind of in the same boat myself in the to the extent of I'm not a big social media guy, dude. I have talked. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even just saying this just for whatever. But like, I've talked to people, actors, actresses, directors all across the world, right? But I have no social media presence because I don't do that. Like, to me, I get on, I do my show, I do my thing, I fucking post it up, and then I don't look at the shit and I know that's, at a certain extent, that's my fault. Like, I need to stay on top of that or hire somebody to do it for me. But, dude, you're right. Like, I almost, like, we see so many, what is there, 1 million podcasts out right now, and there's, 5% are actually worth listening to? And it's just a weird time, including this one, by the way. Not worth listening to. But I hope that you're right. Like, we do kind of, the pendulum swings back, because it's weird. It's weird, man. Like, I talked to this martial arts action star who's got 5 million fans in Singapore, but since most people don't know him here, there's no traction whatsoever. But out there, dude, I'm getting DMs from people, shit that I don't even understand, like, I'm just like,
right.
This is such a weird time to be in, but I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that if you just keep producing, much like how, I never see you not working, sir, ever.
Yeah,
like, you're a grinder.
It's exhausting. Thank you. My girlfriend hates it, but
yeah.
it keeps me sane. If I don't work, I just start drinking and going down a horrible path. But I'll tell you what you said about the popularity thing. It's true, but I think the key is that the system has changed. We used to go, this guy or this girl is unbelievably funny, put him on TV. This is the next big thing. Put him on TV. But now the put him on TV guy doesn't exist. You have to get on TV. But TV is now the internet. So it is who's the funniest person, but you have to find them, and they have to find a way to get that out. Like, there's all these amazing basketball player kids I see now, like these white kids who are great at basketball, and they make these Instagram pages, and they get popular. So it is a popularity contest, but you got to use your skill to get popular, and then use the popularity to get bigger. So it's still that way, I think, but you can't wait around for Netflix to find you. You got to just go to the internet. And thank God the internet exists. They're like, I bitch and moan about the state of the industry all the time, but I should be sitting around blowing the internet all day, because without that, I don't know where I'd be.
Well, yeah, I mean, this wouldn't be possible without the internet. You know, like I wouldn't have been. It's so easy to access some of, whoever, you may like comedy or whatever you're into. And, this wouldn't be possible. And I'm grateful for that. But it's just like, it gets exhausting to have to weed through all the shit. Like music, comedians, movies. Like with all these streaming services, like it's a blessing and a curse, because I'm the same as you as far as like there are more times than there should be. I'm shitting on the internet and shitting on Netflix and Hulu and all these avenues for kind of producing bad shit, but at the same time, I mean, you can find a gem in there. You can find several gems, and that just didn't exist as early as 10, 15 years ago. So I think just for me, it's just overload. That's what it boils down to. Like, it's a blessing and a curse in that, like, oh well, if you want to stay active and you want to interact with people, and you want your show to grow or whatever you're trying to grow, then it's a necessary evil. But fuck, man, it's too much sometimes. It's too much.
It's a changing of the guards, and unfortunately we're right smack in the middle of it. But I will say, I watch a lot of documentaries and I read all these biographies about Miles Davis or James Brown or whoever the fuck, and it's always, oh, they were running around for 10, 15, 20 years before they got anywhere. And I think now, sure, they got discovered, and sure, they're greats, but I think now you can get discovered earlier with the internet, 'cause you can just put it out yourself. So there are pros and cons, but it's just a kick in the pants, because it's all new, and we have to navigate those waters now. Whereas before, you just had some guy, fat guy with a cigar with his feet up on a desk going, "You're it, kid. Get in there. You're on Broadway," and that shit is over.
So I guess to your point there, what was your experience of self-releasing your most recent special? Was it something that you'll definitely do again, or you're like, I don't know?
What a mind fuck that was, just because, again, it was a failure. I was trying to get on Netflix, trying to get on HBO. I was like, I got this hot hour here. I watch a lot of comedy. This has been fine-tuned. I think it's pretty good. It's killing all over the country. And nobody would pick it up. And then I just said, well, I already shot it. I spent $15,000 shooting it. I might as well I don't want to throw it in the garbage can. So I put it on YouTube. And I was upset. I was hurt. I was crushed. But I said, hey, if this is all I got, then I better hype the shit out of it. So I made a trailer. I went on every podcast. I went on Rogan and talked about it and all this shit. So I just had to blow it out, because it was all I had. I was up against the wall, and it hit, and it's still hitting. We're about to hit 7 million views, and then Netflix saw it, and now they're giving me a half hour. So, look, a lot of people who are maybe not that funny have had at Netflix hours and Netflix TV shows, and I had to do it. I had to show them. I had to, like, this YouTube set is like me grabbing them by the shoulders and going, look, I got something here. And it worked. But yeah, of course I get annoyed that other people didn't have to do that. But hey, at least I got there, and it feels good.
I just don't think, like, you talk about unfair. Someone like you, I just don't, like, are we really having this conversation? Like, where you had to do it yourself, Mark Norman? Like, and I understand I'm biased, because I'm not kidding you. You're my favorite working today, and and the people that listen to this show, they know I don't just throw that shit out lightly. Like, that's I mean that shit. And I think I have a pretty good sense of what works in entertainment, what doesn't, and the fact that you had to do that, dude, like, it bums me out, that not only for you, but, like, again, for the future of, say, comedy or whatever, because someone as talented as you had to experience that. It doesn't compute to me. I don't know if it ever will, to be honest with you.
You're very nice, and I wish you were my dad. But again, it's a changing of the guard. We don't really want a straight whitey in there. That's not hip anymore.
No.
And unfortunately now it's very identity politic-y. So like there's a million straight white comics, but there's only so many slots for them. So also I think just like some guys get discovered randomly at the Soda Jerk station in Beverly Hills, some guys fall through the cracks. And I think I fell through the cracks, and that's going to happen. But I still had to, I still said, hey, I'll make them know who I am. And it sucks that I had to go do these extra steps, but I was willing to do it, and it worked out. So I'm just happy to be on the team, and hopefully I wanted to prove myself as much going forward. But hey, that's the breaks, and you should only bitch about what you can control. And I can't control these Jews in Hollywood checking me out. So I'll try to control what I can and put some good stuff out and write some new shit, and hopefully it works. So yeah, it sucks, but hey, it also sucks to be born with a cleft palate or a soul patch or be a DJ or be Canadian or whatever. So yeah, I'm also lucky in that way. I got 2 legs and a medium-sized penis, and a head of hair and all that. So we could do it all day. So, but yeah.
Well,
the good news is we made it.
You're gonna see some soul patches here soon, and you're gonna see some Affliction T-shirts and chandelier jeans. You saw them last night, dude. It's mind blowing how far behind Toledo. That's another. This is how stupid Toledo is. You're performing at the Toledo Funny Bone, which is actually in Perrysburg. So that
right.
Just doesn't. None of the shit makes sense. But yeah, you're gonna see some soul patches in the crowd tonight, boy. Mark, I appreciate.
It's like a 1998 museum out here.
Yeah, oh, dude, it's fucking nauseating, dude. And I'll tell you right now, the worldview is about 10, 12 years behind. So
interesting.
What I do want to ask you before I let you go, just because you had mentioned it, and like I said, predominantly this is an entertainment podcast. Give me a couple of your favorite documentaries before you go.
Woo! I like, I think it's called 975. It's about the precinct in Brooklyn that was stealing all the money. That's great.
Yep.
I love Exit Through the Gift Shop.
Excellent.
I just watched the Hemingway doc on PBS. That was fun. The Mark Twain doc was fun. What are some great ones? Oh, man, there's a documentary. I think it's called Honey. It's about a woman, I don't know, somewhere in Russia who just sells honey that she gets out of a cave, and she she knows how to work with the bees and everything. Oh, I can't remember the name. It's unbelievable. Give that a goog. I think it's called Honey or Honey Up My Ass or the Honey Pot. I can't remember, but
let's see here.
It's incredible.
Honey documentary. What do we got
yes.
here?
Give that a type.
Let's see here. Honeyland?
I think that's it. Yeah, it's a little slow, but man, if you take an edible and put a Percocet up your ass, it is a hell of an evening. You're gonna be weeping.
Oh, dude, weeping. If we're talking weeping for documentaries, I still have never recovered from Dear Zachary. I don't know.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, dude.
I mean, I'm still hard from that one.
Dude, I saw it twice because I wanted my girlfriend at the time to see it, and dude, it wasn't any easier the second time around. Like, I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ, what is going on, dude?
Yeah.
Anyway, sir, I appreciate you coming on. I'm not going to keep you any longer than I said I would. And thank you so much, dude. I hope that you come on the show again. This was, I mean, just as easy as I thought it was going to be. But I'm here for the rest of your career, man. I'm a fan. I'll follow you anywhere. I mean that.
Hey, that means the world. I appreciate it. Come out to a show if you can, and praise Allah.
Toledo Funny Bone, and it's actually Mark Norm on Twitter, Mark Normand on Instagram, and do you have a MySpace or anything like that?
Wow. Talking about stuck in the past. No, but go to marknormancomedy.com for dates. Check out my podcast, and I'll see you on Grindr.
Okay. All right, Mike, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
All righty.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Normand, like I told you, he's going to be at the Toledo Funny Bone tonight. My favorite comic working, and I don't just say that shit. Make sure you go and support him. Tag, love, like, Give them a listen. Tuesdays with Stories is hilarious. We Might Be Drunk is fucking hysterical. Ellis Cinema, ELLISSINEMA, Ellis Cinema Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And hope to see you out at the show tonight. We gone.